I'm always going to do my set the same way I do it. I have my set that I know I'm going to do, and then obviously I'm going to come up with things on the fly as well. And that to me is the most fun part of doing my job, is that it's not just you're not watching a play, you're watching me play. I don't care about the special anymore. I'm concerned about the people in the audience that are at my live shows that pay the money to be there. And my goal is to always make sure that they have the best show they can possibly get. When I would go to my grandmother's house, I would have to walk around with a shotgun. Whether I was 6, 9, or 12, I had to walk around with the wildlife out there. Leopards, tigers, cobras, uh, uh, pythons, wild boar. There's real wildlife out there, and you're not, they don't give a shit who you are. They're like, they want to eat you.
All right, we're very excited. Russell Peters is coming back home, baby. It's a
You
relaxed
sure
tour.
ass I am.
It's the Relax World Tour. And from me, Hrishi K, and everybody at 94.3 Radio 1, we welcome the great man sitting in a car in California and it's raining outside. How are you, Russell?
I'm great. How are you, Rishi?
I'm very well. I'm going to start
Good.
with early stories. I mean, you grew up in Toronto, visible immigrant community. Which single neighborhood, sound, phrase, childhood food memory do you still lean on when you craft a set about identity? And I'd like you to recreate a moment for everybody who's watching or listening.
Well, you got to understand, I was an Indian kid in a small working class town. Not small, but it was a working class town, which was basically white and black. And so I grew up with the black kids because they didn't bully me. The white kids were really racist back then in Canada. So from a very young age, I understood avoid the white people. And so my childhood memories are Jamaican food, like West Indian Caribbean food. So eating jerk chicken and oxtail and rice and peas and all that kind of stuff. I was like, this is great. So living in LA for the past 20 years, there's no Caribbean people, a very, very small Caribbean community. So there's no Caribbean food. So when I go back to Toronto, the first thing I get is Caribbean food.
All right. Listen, I'm going to come to relax. I wonder when you write material, when you're writing a new bit, what comes first for you? Is it the voice or the character, the punchline, or the structural arc? And does that order flip sometimes? And in Relax's case, did it flip?
Well, for me, I'm not a guy that I've never been a studious guy. I've never been the guy that was able to sit down and just write material. That's never been the way my brain works ever. And I've been doing this for 37 years now. So it's not like it's new to me. I always go on stage when I'm writing. It's a question of I go on stage with nothing, and then I just see what happens. And every night I will go on stage with nothing until I get a piece, and I'll take the piece. And over nights and nights of doing this repetition, I'll eventually craft a set. Now, is this my best set? I don't know. I always seem to think it's my best set, and then but I also have ADD, so I get bored of the set after a while. So now that I've been on tour for so long and I'm coming back to India, my brain is like, yeah, it's a cool set and all, but could it be better? I'm like, absolutely, it could be better. So before I come to India, I'm working on new things just to bring to India centric even. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to coming back. I listen, I'm coming back there in a month, and I'm looking forward to seeing what I come with. Obviously, I know what I'm doing, but I need, my brain is like, you need some new stuff for India to make them know that you, because India is one of the places I really care about. You know, it may seem patronizing, but it's not, because I really do. I mean, to me, like, India is everything for me. I mean, it's been my whole identity, my whole life, even though I was never born there and I never lived there. But I have so many wonderful memories of going to India in 76 and 79, in 81, 82, in 98. And then, just all these years of my life, some of and the India I know is not the India that everybody else knows. So it's me to tell you my story of how I feel about India.
Listen, do references, cultural references, change when you're going from city to city in India? For example, this time you're doing Mumbai, and you're also doing Shillong, which is in the northeast, and you're doing
Yeah.
Kolkata, which is in the east. And
Hmm.
the choice of material. I know as to predominantly remain the same, but are we going to see stuff in the relaxed tour change city to city inside India?
I think there'll definitely be some local references when I get to these places. I mean, Calcutta is where my mom's from. My mom and dad met in Calcutta, and I still refuse to call it Kolkata because it's just my mom was born in Calcutta.
Yeah.
And so I've never called it Kolkata in my life. I'm like, it doesn't even make sense to me. I'm like, what is Kolkata? I mean, I get that that's what it's called now, but I don't have that memory, and I still refuse to call Bombay Mumbai because my dad was born in 1925 in Bombay, and my dad's been gone for 22 years now. And literally my first show in India on March 15th in Delhi is on the day of my dad's passing.
Wow.
So for me, there's a lot of really not emotional, but there's a lot of really personal elements to this whole thing to me.
Russell, Relax as a tour title. Did you design the
Yes.
show to make the audience, I don't know, breathwork, call and response, warm up? See, how does that shape the first 10 minutes of the set, for example? Relax.
Well, my style has always been to talk to the audience. It's always been the way I do things. So, Thank you. When I go when I, when it, I'm always going to do my set the same way I do it. I have my set that I know I'm going to do, and then obviously I'm going to come up with things on the fly as well. And that to me is the most fun part of doing my job is that it's not just you're not watching a play, you're watching me play.
That's awesome. For fans who can't make the live gig, is there going to be any India specific content release, like a film special, exclusive set, I don't know, an audio mini set from the Relax Store? And are you going to choose India as the place to release that content?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think I've done 10 specials now. I've been doing this for 37 years. I've done 10 specials over these past 37 years. And I've gotten to a point where I'm like, I don't care about the special anymore. I'm concerned about the people in the audience that are at my live shows that pay the money to be there. And my goal is to always make sure that they have the best show they can possibly get. Will I have an off night? I don't know, but it's always possible. Will I have a great night? I hope so. I hope to have great nights every night of that tour because going back to India is like, for me, it's like I'm trying to do I mean, obviously, I want to make you laugh, but I'm trying to do my family proud. It's like my name is on the line here. My parents are born and raised here. We've been Indian my whole life, you know. So for me, it's a question of I really got to represent.
Russell, venue sizes in India can vary wildly, from the really large, the 20,000 to the 2,000. Is there a micro change you make to a transition or a size, considering you've been doing this for almost 4 decades now?
Well, if you really look at it, if you really want to boil down some facts, I've done it in 5 different decades. I did it in the 80s. I did it in the 90s. I did it in the 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. And it's always going to be special for me. And so you're getting to see an experienced guy. It's it's something like there's plenty of I see that there's plenty of kids doing stand up now in India and around the world, which I think is great. But you're getting to see a guy who's well seasoned, and I don't want to toot my own horn because I hate having to toot my own horn. But in all fairness, did comedy exist before I started this? No. Am I the first guy to bring it to India? Absolutely. And I got to maintain my position as not the gatekeeper, but definitely the godfather of it for a generation.
Younger comedians will often ask you about sustainability on a world tour. I mean, here are you putting yourself on the line, 50 plus shows. What's a operational habit for Russell Peters? Is it sleep blocks? Is it vocal care? I don't know. How do you kind of just
Well,
keep
I
calm?
really, in all fairness, I love sleep. Sleep is my favorite thing in the world. And the more I sleep, the more I rest my voice, the more I relax, pardon the pun, and chill, the better the shows are going to be. Now, the last time I was in India was 2 years ago. And when I was in Bombay, my buddy Raj Kundra made me go to his club, and he may or may not have gotten me a little drunk that night. And I went back to my hotel and ended up vomiting 3 or 4 times, and I lost my voice. So my voice was really strained on that last tour, and I feel like I didn't cheat the audience, but I wasn't trying to. But I feel like I didn't give them all of me, and I'm going to be a lot more cognizant of that this time.
Russell, you often pull up fans for crowd work. Is there a memorable crowd encounter in India or an Indian diaspora night? I don't know, that still lives in your head. And why do you feel it works so well?
I can't say there's one night that particularly stands out in my life because I do this every night. I literally just did the Comedy Store tonight in Hollywood, just to work on some stuff, just to get up there and talk. And I'm kind of it's never going to be lost on me. I'm literally living the dream, so to speak, you know. And so every night is fun for me, and I think people. It sounds so cheesy and so to me it sounds Bollywood because you know the Bollywood dudes always try to sound positive and like, oh, I'm having a great time, and I'm like, shut up, you're just doing it for the money. But I really do like, yeah, if you're, and I'm not trying to downplay what the actors do because I think what they do is fantastic for them, but for me, I genuinely do love going on stage every night because I don't know what's going to happen.
Russell, when you compare and you look back at Outsourced, Red, White, and Brown, the Green Card Tour, which special was the hardest to film, technically or emotionally?
I think as of late, more the later specials like the Act Your Age and Deported. Those were the ones that were not harder, but they were the ones that, for me, it's like I'm really I don't want to lose my position. I want to secure my place in history. And whether you may think I have or not is irrelevant because to me I'm like, no, I don't want to lose this. I love what I do, and it's the only thing I do. It's the only way I make money. It's the only thing I know how to do. So I'm very cognizant of making sure that the audience has the best time they could possibly have.
Is
I
there,
never once go up there and mail it in
yeah,
or phone it in, as they say. I genuinely care every single time I'm on stage.
how lovely. Is there an unexpected heckle that changed the final version of a famous routine?
A heckle, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I mean nobody can listen. It's kind of like I used to box, right? And I do jujitsu. So it's kind of like a guy who goes, I could do that. I go, no, you can't. You may have a good moment where you think you have an opening, and it may be hilarious too, but I'm like, I've heard it before. You're not going to surprise me with anything. People will try all the time, like, oh, yeah, well, that was my dead father. I'm like, I don't care about your dead father at this point. Motherfucker. It's about this moment right now. Don't try to bring me down to your level. I'm going to bring you up to mine.
Is there a time in a non Western country where a joke you thought would land didn't land and an audience reaction kind of
You
threw
know,
you off? Yeah.
funny enough, you should say that. Last weekend, I was in Tacoma, Washington, and
Yeah.
I'm doing this bit about how I think America is not where it once was. And I'm trying to explain to the audience, like, we can get back there, but we're in a bad place right now. And some guy literally got up and walked out of the show. I go, what's wrong? And he said, I'm not here listening to this. I don't want to hear this anti-American shit. And I said, my First Amendment, the most anti-American thing you can do right now is ignore my First Amendment right to freedom of speech. So the fact that you're walking out means you're actually anti-American because I'm using my freedom of speech to explain something, and you haven't bothered to listen to the end of the of the dissertation, so to speak.
There's so many comedians who copy from Russell Peters' playbook. I want to know if you think there's an up and coming comic on the international circuit, Indian circuit, who you think is doing something genuinely new with structure, with voice.
I'll be honest with you, I don't watch much comedy. I go to these clubs, I do my spots, and I don't pay attention to it because I'm like, I got to worry about me. If it's kind of like running a race. If you're running a race, you don't look beside you or behind you. You're worried about you and on your position. And if there's guys doing great things, that's amazing. If there's guys doing crappy things, that's their problem. I got to worry about me in the meantime. Am I being mediocre? Am I being good? Am I being great? That's my goal. I got to be great every time.
Russell, this is an amazing global touring business you built. We're so proud of you, considering we consider you Indian. How much are you involved with all the merch bundles, the VIP packages, the time release of clips, all the business side, or do you just leave it to your agents and the managerial stuff, or do you get actively involved in the commercial side of things?
I don't really get actively involved in that stuff because I'll be honest with you, I'm not that smart. If I was smart enough to be a, 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 a guy that was who had that kind of foresight into making money, I would have been in a better position already. But I'm just not built that way. I am who I am, and my tool is my voice and my thoughts. So for me to start considering T-shirts and meet and greets, which are great, and don't get me wrong, I love, and I'm not the meet and greet guy who's going to like just say hi and take a photo. I talk to you because I genuinely like people, and whether you're a weirdo or not, I don't give a shit. It's the fact that you're there for me and I'm there for you. You know, one hand washes the other, as they say.
Lovely. Favorite place in India would be, is it Bombay and Calcutta because the mom and dad connection, or is there any other place that you really love?
I mean, where my dad's from Burhanpur, and most people don't know where the hell Burhanpur is. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's in the jungle, basically. And I really want to go back there. I haven't been to Burhanpur in at least 44 years. I've not been back to Burhanpur. And I would love to go back and see it, even though I have no actual family there or anything. But my grandmother's house, well, I don't know who owns it now, but I would love to go see it. And I remember having to go, when I would go to my grandmother's house, I would have to walk around with a shotgun. Whether I was 6, 9, or 12, I had to walk around with the wildlife out there. There's leopards, tigers, cobras, uh, uh, pythons, wild boar. There's real wildlife out there, and you're not. They don't give a shit who you are. They're like they want to eat you. They're you know. So I would love to go back there, but I'm trying to plot that. My brother and I are trying to plot that as well because it's not a place you can actually fly into. It's a small railway village.
My last question is about, are you going to revisit some older jokes in the current set in Relax, bring back some of the old
Nah,
stuff, or have you retired them and it's going to be totally brand new? Talk about
going to be
Relax.
totally brand new. What I am considering, though, in about 3 years, is revisiting all my old greatest hits, so to speak,
Ah,
and putting a set together of that because that'll be my 40th year in stand up, and I think it's fair to everybody at that point. Let's go back and enjoy the good times for a second.
Russell, can't wait for you to get to India and see you rock these 6 cities. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, buddy.
94.3 Radio 1.